Hi. I'm having fun jamming. Oh, wait, what? I'm supposed to do a video. That's right. But I just want to keep jamming. Hi, my name is John Skippy Limcool. Very glad you're with me. Thank you for joining. I don't mean to confuse you, but I'm having fun with two different plugins. Same library, but two different plugins. The Kalimba is a special bonus patch that I made for the Kontakt 5 version of MegaMagic Bells and Winds. The bass is being played as one of the signature bonus patches inside of the Omnisphere 2 version of the same library. Because the Omnisphere 2 version has a full synthesizer with Oscillator 2 being a square wave and being able to do things like this bass sounds and stuff. It does some things really, really nicely. And because of that, I had the guys go crazy making all of these, as you can see, bonus patches for this library. Now, the Kontakt 5 version, it does have some, and it will have more. I'm going to release, I'm getting more into this giving away content for my libraries. Just, I don't give away like the patches themselves, but I'll give away some bonus patches after the libraries come out. So there's these signature bonus patches, and I have 19 patches that I created that are released and included with the library. And I'll be making probably another 30 more. So there'll be 50 in this folder when I'm done in probably a week or so. By the way, that groove, just to add more confusion to the world, that groove is one of a bunch of bonus multis that I'm going to be releasing for the Beat Breakers OMG for Omnisphere. And it's using, believe it or not, this with, let's see if we go over here and we disassemble it. That's how it sounds when you call it up in the library. But I shortened it, high pass filtered it. I've put Time Designer on it so that it's got a more succinct timing so it fits everything. It's combined with a shaker from the Groove Elements library. And then one of the hip hop kind of drum grooves that's in the Beat Breakers library. So there will be 25 multis coming out in a week or so as well for this. So all sorts of cool bonus content. And you won't believe the library after this. I can't say anything yet, but those of you that have Serum are going to be really happy. And that's coming out in the middle of July. And that's all I'm saying about that right now. I will get in trouble with myself if I say more than that. We are here to look at this. This is the Kontakt 5 version of MegaMagic Bells and Winds. And why would I do this? Why would I think I'm muddying the water by releasing the same library in multiple formats? A, because I can. Because I know how to do this. I have this interface for Kontakt 5 that I actually designed 3 years ago. This interface was used for Mega Macho drums, used for MegaMagic Dreams, and now used for here because it's very fast and easy and powerful and fun. You've got 6 different effects right here that we'll cover. You've got your amp, your filter, and your pitch EG right here. You've got delay and 2 different reverbs. And the reverbs have all sorts of really cool things you can call up beyond just reverbs right here. There's no multiple page. There's none of that stuff. You have a high pass, low pass filter. I'm going to show you in a minute how you can go into this. You can say low pass filter and come right here and change it to be any other type of filter. Bam, done. There's a whole lot of other stuff I'm going to show you about Kontakt 5. One of the main reasons that I did this is that there's this Synth Engine inside of Kontakt 5 that can do some really cool things. And these samples, they became kind of magical when they get put through some of this stuff. So a lot of people don't have Omnisphere 2 also. Just realize the more formats I can support with one of my libraries, the better it is for me as a business, because my customer base just got a little bit bigger. I'm considering, I haven't done it yet, but I'm considering maybe bringing this out for Serum as well, because I've done that with MegaMagic Dreams and it did pretty well. So we'll see. I haven't decided yet. There's so much I want to do, and there's only me, so I have to kind of like, somewhere in here I'm going to update my website in the next couple of weeks too. So I got a lot of work cut out for me. But this library, I want to cover the differences between the Omnisphere version and the Kontakt 5 version. And I have a couple of customers, actually more than a couple, that are saying, do I need both? And probably not. Unless you're really needing new sounds and want to use the engines and get into things. I'm making this so that people that have one version of one of the two plugins has this available to get. The core library, I've organized it differently. Let's do this. Let's turn this off so I can have both of these guys open at once. I hope you guys are doing good. It's interesting times we live in. Let's go over here to Omnisphere, open this up. Okay, so the Omnisphere library is organized. It's just a scrolling list of the patches. I can't make folders and stuff and have it organized here because that's not how the directories work. So all the basic patches, all the way down through WinTV to right here, there's 170 something core patches. These are the patches that call up a single sample. They are set up so that there's all sorts of the hidden parameters. If you turn on the ring modulator or the granular synthesis, if you go to the effect page, things are off that you can turn on. These all have basically that concept. And each one of them that you find here, you'll find right here. I was able to organize it a little differently and put it so that you have bells, synthetic and real. You have flutes, pan and wood. You have harmonica, kalimba. Steve Taglioni's samples are here, and then there's a handful of bonus signature patches. And as I said, this will be growing to a total of probably about 50 made by me. What's different with the Omnisphere and why it's $10 more is that starting right here at the end of the WinTV, these Z patch, these are bonus signature patches. And as you can see, there's 6 other programmers besides myself that have credit for making patches. I pay my programmers money for the patches they make. For each one, they earn money, and I pay them cash before I sell any. So I've invested thousands of dollars for these patches in knowing that I will sell to X number of customers at least, and I will make my money back. So I have put money forward because of these patches. For the Kontakt 5 version, I'm doing it all myself. I will make all the bonus patches myself. I'm not hiring anybody to do anything. I have to pay a licensing fee for this interface to Aaron, because that's our agreement, is that I can use this script in other libraries that I bring out, but I give him, it's thousands of dollars, a licensing fee. So it's not inexpensive to make these libraries. Those of you that think it's just a free, whatever, it's not. I put out a lot of money before I get any money back from any sales. That's why I hope people buy this instead of torrent it. But I'm not even getting into that. Okay? So the core library is going to be found to be pretty much identical. In fact, let's do this. Call it Baby Bell here. Call it Baby Bell here. And here it is in Omnisphere. And let's make sure my levels are at 0 because I was jamming for a minute there. So here is Omnisphere. Here is Kontakt. Oh. Same samples. The mod wheel in Omnisphere is changing the actual amp envelope, e.g. the attack. For the Kontakt 5 version, I have it changing volume. Okay, if we go down to something else, let's say Kalimba, Thumb Kalimba 2, and go to Kontakt, to Kalimba 2. and drag that over. Okay, so here is the Kontakt 5 version. And here is the Omnisphere 2 version. Okay, so as far as that goes, the libraries are identical. They have the same samples. I tried to map them to the same range for the different, so that they play in the same range. So if you were to actually have MIDI files for one part and you call up the plugin and you play in they'll play and sound right. All right, before we get too far into this, I want to cover installation real quick. There's a couple shortcut tricks I want to talk to you about. I want to teach you about the quick access so that you don't have to rely on looking through the files, the browser over here to find files. There's a shorter, faster way. It's actually faster and shorter than using the libraries tab for these libraries, actually. So I'm going to make the browser actually go away for now. When you download this library, you will get a file like this. It's a zip file. You unzip it. You will end up with a folder like this. You take that folder and you drag it over to a location. I actually store most of my stuff on a separate hard drive, but the usual place you would put that would be users and then shared. And that's where I've put all of my libraries. That's where I build them from and save them from. So if you put them in the same location, you won't even get an error message. We'll talk about that in a minute. So inside of here, you've got the background image, the instruments, the resources, which is the script, all the stuff required to make the script work, and then the actual samples. And I want to point out, these are WAV files. They're 48 kilohertz, 24-bit, uncompressed WAV files. So you can use them in other applications, other samplers. If you use Ableton, you can load these up. And that's the pitch is at the very end of the sample names. A lot of things like Omnisphere looks at the sample names at the end of the name. And if it sees that, it will automatically map it so that it plays at the right pitch. So I have done that work for you. Now, if we get over here to Kontakt 5, and I was talking about this quick menu. If you go over to Control click, or you're right here is the quick button. So either place will open up this quick menu. Take the instruments folder, drag it to right here and let go. And it'll take it a few minutes, and it's going to make a directory, and the directory will be named instruments. And that's okay, because we can rename it after the fact. And if I can't do anything, so I'm going to have a sip of my chai latte. All right, so it's just about done with its process, and there it is. So I can close this window now, because it's made a set of directories that match all the patches that it found in that folder. And we can right click on this and say rename. Let's call it MegaMagic Bells and Winds. You can name it whatever you want. I suggest making it something so it's easy to remember for the future. Right? And then from here, all you have to do is you could say Bells Real, Baby Bell. Yes. And there it is. Now you can access this at any time just by control clicking or right clicking with your mouse. In the main edit area, just click and I could quickly load up something with MegaMagic Dreams, which was the Synthy. That's the first version of MegaMagic Bells and Winds. I first did Dreams. Okay. And then Bells and Winds it's actually supposed to just be guitars. I originally did a sampling session for guitars, but at the end I played this 26 minutes or so of my percussion instruments, and that became, here's the box. Whoops. With my percussion instruments. I showed this in the Omnisphere 2 version, so I'll show it here too. All sorts of stuff in here. My pan flute. Tomorrow, my plan is tomorrow to make a video showing how to sample this pan flute and then turn that into a sound inside of Omnisphere 2. So that's tomorrow. But we're looking at Kontakt 5. Anyway, where am I at? I got carried away a little bit, sorry. So we go back to Bells and Winds. Like I said, this is quick access. So you can access anything from any of the libraries just as quickly as you. It's far quicker than using the file browser and trying to navigate either through the files area or through the libraries or the database. It's just so much faster to use just quick. And say bells and winds, signature, here's the Calliope. So okay. So that is the first thing, is to drag the instruments into the quick browser and set that up and rename it so you now have the library easy to access. If you get error messages, that is because your computer system's names don't match my computer system's names, because it's remembering where the samples reside by the names of folders and the hard drive name, right? So you would go to Files and you would say Batch Resave, and you see this warning message, and you ignore that warning message. And let's see, we're not there. We want to go to here, to Macintosh HD, Users, Shared, Bells and Winds, to Instruments, and then say Choose. And by doing that, it will go through and reconnect every patch for Kontakt 5 to the samples in the samples folder. That's how it will reconnect, so that way you won't see error messages ever again. Any of your Kontakt 5 libraries, if you see an error message, it's because your directories where you put this library doesn't match where it's expecting to see them. So Batch Resave becomes a really good friend to you. So by doing this, it's almost done. Okay, it's done. Now I can just right click on here, and now next time you choose something, let's say the bell's real, baby bell again. It's there, okay? Now, a lot of people have asked for comparison between this and the Omnisphere 2 version of the library, and I'm here to tell you they pretty much sound identical. It's really hard to tell differences. There are some. Release is a little smoother at the very end of the release of the samples. You might notice that, you might not. Here's the Kontakt 5 version. Hear how the sounds kind of fade out? It's because the shape of the envelope is a little bit more linear than exponential. Whereas in Omnisphere, if you don't like the shape of the release of the envelope, you can go over here, and I made it really exponential and really long. The result is a more natural fade to the very end. That's one of the very few things you'll be able to tell between this and the Kontakt 5 version. And that's, I can't change the curvature of the release in Kontakt. I can change the curvature of the attack. We might talk about that in a minute. Omnisphere has the same core library right here up to the end of the Win TVs, right? That's the Steve Taglioni's patches, which are really awesome. From here on, the Z patches are the signature patches. And these patches, I hired 6 programmers and paid them, but they worked really hard, and so they deserve to get paid. So that's one reason why this library is a little more expensive, is because I've put money out in the thousands of dollars for these patches to expand the library, to have other people. I mean, I would never have that from Bells and Winds if it wasn't for Airwave. I mean, it's just very cool, and it required this guy in Belgium that's just a wonderful programmer to make it. So the signature patches here, there's a lot. There's 150, and they're by a whole variety of programmers. Over here on MegaMagic for Kontakt, there is a signature area. I'll show you this way. Signature patches. Right now I have 19 patches. I will make more. There will be 50 probably when I'm done in a week or two. And they will be free to existing Kontakt owners of the library. That's how I work, is I'll just put them out for free. But you have to have the library for it to work. I'm making these patches. I'm not hiring anybody to do the patches for this library. So that's one of the differences why I can sell this at a lesser expensive cost than the other one. I have a lot more money invested in the Omnisphere version than I do in the Kontakt 5 version. Okay. So they're very similar in that respect. This here, you've got the core library organized by bells, synthetic and real, pan flute, wood, and normal pan flute and wood flute. The harmonica, the kalimba, the Steve Taglioni patches here, they're all the same. So if you call up the flute and water phone, here's the dry version. Oh, go back to Kontakt. There it is. And you can play with it and do whatever you want. Okay. Now the interface. One of the cool things with the Kontakt 5 version is that this interface has a whole lot of really cool stuff you can quickly do to the sounds from one page without having to go anywhere else. You've got volume, you've got pan, you've got the pitch, which can go radical. There's a little box right here which will show you what your value is. There's a filter, and you can change it to be high pass, resonance, okay. And typically these patches, I have the filter down low. And over here, there's the F knob. This is filter cutoff by velocity. This is A is amp velocity, and D is decay to the amp. Because filter is up, and there's a little bit of filter EG going on for this shape, I have the filter down, so velocity, I can get expressive. You know, I can, and it sounds really nice. It's very playable. It's very happy how it turned out. Right here is output. And there's two things you should know about output. There's stereo, and then there's the insert effect change. A lot of times I'm setting it to stereo because I don't want any effects on these sounds. However, by doing that, because it's stereo, this volume knob doesn't work anymore. This volume knob is only connected to the insert effect chain. Okay? Now the insert effect chain is right down here. It's called insert effects. Right now there's a limiter on it, but I can make that go away. And you can click here and you can choose any of the filters that are up there. And so I could say on a lot of the sounds, I actually use the high pass filter right here to get rid of like the wind noise and the harmonicas, that type of thing. So you'll find those assigned to the insert effect chain. But this is an effect chain of a total of 8 different effects that you could set up. So you could do that. You could say rotate. You could say I want to have also a convolution or just a regular reverb. And you can change the order around. So if I want the rotary to be after the reverb, you can do that. So you can build up effect chains like crazy. There's presets, so you could go to the factory and there's all sorts of really cool effect chains that do crazy things to the sounds. So don't be afraid to explore these effect chains. And you just click preset right here and choose them. There's a little way that just so you know, let's make it really clear. There's all these really, really cool sample libraries for Kontakt 5. Some have amazing graphics going on, all sorts of unique things, and they talk about, you know, the cool things that they can do. There's nothing any of those libraries are doing you can't do yourself with Kontakt. The scripting doesn't give them access to making new synthesizer methods or so forth. All of the parameters are right here. All it is this top is this really cool, nice interface to connect to the parameters down here inside of Kontakt 5. So when I have the filter cutoff, that only works because I have a filter right here that's set up. And you notice that the high pass filter is bypassed. But if I go up here and I change to the high pass filter, in scripting, Aaron set it up so that now this is bypassed and now this is active for the high pass filter. The lo-fi, this is bypassed until I go over here to the lo-fi effect page and I hit the little green button to turn it on. And now if I go back and look, lo-fi has been turned on. So everything inside of Kontakt is the same for everybody, for every library. But there's so much power here We'll look at this in a minute. There's all these different playback modes for the samples, as well as all these effects that can just radicalize and change the sounds in pretty unique ways. But there's no ability to make completely new synthesis or technologies of any sort inside of Kontakt at this moment. It's strictly a sample playback with some really unique parameters, lots of effects. It's got an incredible number of effect change and effect buses, so it can get very complex. But everybody has access to the same things for all of their libraries. Okay, so that's just one of the clear important points I want to make. So we've got the filter, you've got the effects chain. I'm going to keep it on stereo for now, which means I need to go down here to the effects chain on the insert effects bus. And let's say, oh, I don't know if I can just, let's just turn it off this way by hitting X buttons in the top right corner. And then going up here and turning off the lo-fi effect. Okay, so the filter, resonance, the output assignment, and I showed you how if you have it set to stereo 1, this doesn't work for volume. You just use this. Okay. Now the effect chains. I've set up an effect chain right here that has some really cool things that you could just turn on with these little lights next to each one of these tabs. There's 6 effects in this little box. There's distortion. So it's important to just distort your bells, of course. Lo-fi, your sample rate. You can get very totally falling apart if you want. Glitch is one of the coolest effects, and this is one thing that you don't have in Omnisphere at all. This is a note repeat, and in a minute we're going to show you some other cool things with this kind of technology stuff that's built into Kontakt. So this is saying at a rate of 1/8 notes, I've got 5 repeats and they're doing octave ups. So I play one note. Oh, I gotta turn it on. That's 5. Let's make it 3. So it's repeating each repeat. It's being told to go up an octave. Start is a sample start, so I can go later into the sample. And it respects for each one of these the envelopes. So you can do some really lovely let's see if I bring this down. Oh, I'm on high pass filter, so go. There we go, low pass filter. Okay, so that's a wonderful effect. Let's get the filter back up. We will come back to that in a minute. Compressor just brings up the body, makes it more solid. See how it's tighter, the attack. That's compression. Punch is the transient designer that's built into Kontakt. You can soften attacks, or you can emphasize attack. It's wonderful. And then the EQ. Very smooth. Okay. So what's wonderful with this is you can quickly add these things to the sound to change it in really cool, creative, musical ways without leaving this interface. Just stay right on this page and do it while it's playing in a sequence or something. It's very powerful. The last section is down here. There's a delay and there's 2 different reverbs. So I'm going to bring down the filter so we get a little bit more of an interesting. That's nice. Now delay, if you turn on the sync light, it's now set to be synchronized to your sequencer. So You have a fade and a damp is the filtering. So each repeat. Width, whether it's mono or stereo. And then feedback. Feeds back forever, or else it feeds back none. Okay. All right, there's two reverbs. There's tone verb and ambiverb. They have kind of two different personalities as to what convolution presets. I made custom presets. So if you go over here and you turn up tone verb, there's all these sorts of weird, there's even band hits and filtering. All sorts of weird things beyond just reverb. Okay. The other one, ambiverb, is more your traditional. And you click on ambiverb and this changes so you can choose different reverbs. This has delays as well as reverb. Okay. So you have all of these tools, reverbs, delays, everything from this one screen. It's nice. It's a good way to work. So the last things I want to show you real quickly is, let's do this. Let's quickly load back up, maybe a different sound. Let's use cowbell. A little bit more unique attack. Okay, let's play the cowbell for a minute. The last areas I want to show you is if you hit the tool wrench and you go into the actual engine, there's a couple places really fun to play. The sampler mode allows you to change from it's doing some really cool things to the samples. I mean, that comes from, right? It's kind of a form of granular. Nowhere nearly as cool as the one in Omnisphere, but it's still interesting. Time Machine Pro. These are kind of fun to speed up. So if you're trying to do, especially for more modern dance kind of things, you want to kind of mix these up so it's not just pretty bell sounds. It works good for more mellow songs and stuff too. Takes more DSP power, just be aware. But there's this area to play with. So that's a lot of fun. The other area is scripting. This first script, there's a total of actually up to 5 you can have running at once. This script is the script that's password protected. That is the setting up of the interface. So we're not going to do anything there. But if you go to this empty and you click here, preset. These are all factory presets you can apply really quickly. So if you go to sequencing, arpeggiator, and there's things like chords, as well as all sorts of different types of modes. Zigzag up. Here's velocity. You got swing, duration. And if I go over to the interface and I bring the release, bring up some delay. That's kind of fun. And MIDI through allows you to actually so you can play chords. get the decay to be shorter. Okay, that's cool. I'm going to save that for the bonus. That's how fast it is to make a patch for the bonus section. That's very cool, very usable. So if I want to save this, I go File, Save As, and they do it this way because you can have a whole bunch of different instruments loaded into Kontakt. It can actually have 16 of these, actually it's more than that. It's 4 channels of 16. And let's go to the folder of signature bonus. And we'll call this the dialed in cowbell YT because we're doing this in a YouTube video. Oh. And no, I don't want to do that. YouTube, there, dialed in cowbell. So if you find this in the bonus library, which you will, this patch is going to come out in probably in a week. It'll take me a week to finish making bonus patches, but this will be one of them. Okay, let's go back to the cowbell. Hi. I'll show you a few other things that are really cool in this scripting. So we're loading. It's actually really cool. You can do this. Scripting, you could sit and you could type in here a whole bunch of computer language, actually, and build up a script. But there's all these presets that are done for you. There's a delay sequencer, MIDI echo, unison. The harmonizer is really cool. You can do all sorts of like chords. I mean, the list of chords is crazy. Okay. There's other presets that are really fun. I really liked, where is, right here in the instrument specific, there's Harp Glissando. Just by playing 4 notes. Say half note. So all sorts of things to experiment with. This is one of the areas that makes Kontakt truly unique, is that there's the ability to have all these scripts that do all sorts of really cool things. There's even a drum computer, and you can change the patterns and notes and all sorts of things. It's very fun. So don't be afraid to go in here, go to sequencing and just copy the arpeggiator. Play with the velocities, play with a different type, duration, swing or not. If you want hold, you just go up here to the mode and you spin it and it gets to hold, and now keeps going. Each time you play notes, it starts over, which is nice. Okay. So the Kontakt 5 version is no slouch. It's unique and different than the Omnisphere 2 version. They use the same samples, but what you can do with the samples is different in some respects. They do cover a lot of the same ground, and you don't have to own both. But it's fun to have both if you want to get into Kontakt and play with some of these scripts. If you want to play with the glitch is just so fun to turn on. Just set it to 8th notes. The reason why I like it is it allows you to just play stuff, and this new additional stuff is added to what you play, which makes it unique. And it can be sequenced to your sequencer, so I had check this out. I'll just play a minute of this on the way out. Oh, this is what I was playing at the beginning of the song. Yeah. So if we go over here to the quick access to the signature, there's one patch that I made that I really like called the Intimate Snappy Kalimba. It's just got a really... So we will go out with this. Here is this and that. I opened with this, so it's appropriate. So I hope you like this. Thank you so much, all you guys buying the libraries. I do appreciate the support. It means a lot to me. Now, to make this work, I go to Omnisphere, to the basses, and I call it Vapor Laser Bot. And for this, actually, check this out. And to make this work, let's go latch, bring down the snap of the envelope. Because I made it really snappy. I made it for dance music, but you can bring down the envelope intensity. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'm gonna keep jamming. See you later.